Hey guys, welcome to Tristen for Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about one of my all-time favorite board games and something that really got me into the board game craze, Mysterium. I have loved board games all of my life, but this was really my introduction to really interesting and very deep board games. And I love this game so much. It's the first game I ever bought from my local game store, which obviously is exciting enough as is, but it's just such a really deep and well thought out game. It is just beautiful in every way. Let me give you some interesting facts about it. Mysterium is made by Libelud, who makes a lot of interpretation games where you have to look at something in a picture and you have to interpret what the meaning behind the picture is. They've made other games like Dice Forge 2 or One Key, which is a game where you build, literally build dice, and you put faces on them. And I think that is really cool for a dice building game. I have not played Dice Forge, but I definitely would like to give it a shot because that just sounds like a really cool concept, how you can build the dice and put the faces in on it and whatnot. One of their other new games is called Obscurio, which is a kind of similar game to Mysterium, whereas you have to solve a murder and different things like that, and you have to escape a room. It's just a more layered version of Mysterium. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the two creators of the game. Oleg Sidorenko and Alexander Novinsky are the two creators of this game, and they work on a lot of other games together. 10 games that they've co-created, and of the ones I've played, this one is my favorite. This is also the only one I've played, but that doesn't mean it's not good shit. A couple of their other well-known games are Happy Farm and The Pirates of the Seven Seas, among a lot of other titles. This game has won multiple awards. It has won the 2015 Best Artwork Award for board games because the artwork in this game is just absolutely beautiful. And also it won within the top 50 of Best Games of 2015, which is a really big accomplishment if you think about it. Let's get into it. First things first, let's open this bad boy up. And instantly we are just greeted with this amazing rule set right here. This is just beautiful artwork. There's also a little bit about each of the inspectors and the history of the manor and different things like that within the game. You can read about the character that you're playing as. They have a little backstory for each of them. It's really, really cool. They did a lot of detail in this game that I just admire. First things first you get out of the board is the manor stairs. On one side, this is what the players see. It's the manor and the staircase and this grand entrance with a mysterious figure. But on the inside, it's the deduction board for the ghost. So basically how this game works is one player plays as the ghost, and he has to select, well, we'll get into how to play in a minute, but first things first is setup. Next thing out of the box is this token right here. This is where the token track goes to find out who the final murderer is. We'll get back to that in a minute though. Right now what we need to do is we need to take the weapon cards. The sword and shield represents that. The room cards, the criminal cards. Alright, so the first part of setting up comes to the ghost. I'm going to be setting up for a 4-player game as usual. So what the ghost does is he chooses one of each of these suspects. And he chooses one of them to be the murderer for each player. So I'm going to be using blue, black, and red for today's setup. So I'm going to choose the person that has committed the crime, or at least the suspect that each person has. So the rest of those go back into the box. Now, I'm going to choose the room, and whoever's playing as the ghost will have the responsibility of giving out clues. Room cards go into the box now. And now finally, the weapon cards. Once all of that has been decided, so I have to get out the weapon that was used by each person. And then depending on how hard you want the game to be, you put a certain amount of cards in. I'm going to go for a hard game. Once the 3 cards of actual murder have been detected, then I will put in the rest of the cards. So these ones can just be randomly assorted. Once that's been done, you can put these away. So now that's all been settled for the murder weapon. Next we'll do room and perform the same procedure as so. Alright, once everything's been settled there, you take it to the other side. Also, other thing, since I'm going to be setting up for hard mode, take the 3 ravens and place them on top of the board. These represent 3 questions that the psychics can ask throughout the game. Once they ask a question, I can either shake my head, the ghost can either shake his head yes and or no in response. There is the timer, the crystal ball, and the voting tokens with a yes or a no on them. That gives you a certain amount of points at the end of the game for the final clue for who the actual factual murderer is. Take the character cards, place them out like so. Then you put out the rooms. And last but not least, the old stinkeroos. The items of which could be used in a murder most foul.
This is gonna be good.
And the last thing we need to put together for this before I can show the how-to play is the round tracker, which looks like this really cool clock. Simply all you have to do is pop in the legs, put them down, and just put it in an accessible spot for everybody to see. Start at round tracker number 1. And basically you have to solve the murder before the time runs out. And there we go. Everyone's been set up for, and now I can show everybody how to play. Alright, first things first, the ghost must hand out some of these funky cards that he thinks best represents the person at hand. And they have these very trippy images. So you have to make your very own best interpretation for what the images are. And once the ghost has decided the 3 cards of clue that will be given out, he hands these in and he gives them to each person. So blue's person is the mailman, black's is the general, and red's is lady in pink. So red would have gotten this one, blue would have gotten this one, and black would have gotten that one. So then the timer starts, and you can converse with one another upon what you think these mean and how you think that they correlate with one another. So let's say that the time has run out and everyone has to make their decisions. So blue thinks, and he received this card, that it is the mailman. Red thinks that it is the nun. And black thinks that he has the Scottish saxophone player. So after that, each one of these has either a check mark or a negative sign on it, and then everyone puts down tokens onto what they think is either right or wrong. So blue is very confident that he is right, so he's going to put the 6 of check down. Red is not so confident in herself, but she does think that black is right, so she's going to put the 6 of confidence down there. And black, he thinks that blue is very much wrong, so he's going to put 2 tokens down there. So the ghost will then say, alright, this is what's up. Blue, you are correct. So, since blue is correct, blue also gets 6 points, and that goes down by the round tracker. So he moves up 6 on the tracker. And the higher number you get, 7 and 10, give you 3 cards to look at when the final murder happens. That's that. The other 2 are wrong, so neither of their tokens comes into effect, but they still go to the discard pile for now. And that's essentially how the game goes until you reach all the way down to the final round. Everybody puts their murder suspects up, and once everybody has guessed theirs. Once that has been decided on what the 3 cards are, blue gets to see 2 of the cards, as he got to 8 points. Red gets to see all 3, and black only gets to see 1. So, what must be done is black selects one card to see. He gets to see that. He does not know if that is person, place, or thing, though. And therefore black must make his decision off of that. Then blue gets to see two of them. He chooses the two that he desires. He has gotten to see those two. He has made his decision now. And then red gets to see all three. So she gets to see the three together. Then simultaneously everybody votes together without all three of the cards being seen by those that did not win. Blue goes for the general's vote. Red goes for the blue vote. And black thinks that she is not right. So he goes for red. Then the ghost will simply say, this was the killer, this was the place, and this was the item used. And that is how this game goes. It is a absolutely fantastic game, and I love playing it. Mysterium is an absolute fabulous game for as many players as you want to play it with. Up to 7, obviously. No more than that, but still it is phenomenal. It is by far one of my top 5 favorite games of all time. And I think you guys should really check it out. It is a lot of fun, especially if you like these puzzle type games. But give it a shot, let me know what you think. This is where I'm going to end the video for today. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.